Quest presents an unabridged recording of The Lost House of Ireland by Susanne O'Leary, narrated by Jennifer Fitzgerald. Chapter 1. Allegra lay back on her beach blanket and closed her eyes to the sun. Finally, a moment to herself after a hectic morning trying to keep track of the children on this huge beach, packed with families on vacation after a long New England winter. She had always loved Cape Cod and the cottage in Chatham that had been the family vacation spot ever since her grandfather had bought it in the 1950s. She had played and swum here on Harding Beach since she was a small girl, and now she was watching her niece and nephew doing the same. Her sister Lucia and her brother-in-law Phil had taken over the cottage when their father died, buying Allegra's share for a sum she couldn't refuse. She no longer owned any part of the cottage, as she would never have been able to afford the upkeep, but she was happy it had stayed in the family. A project leader at an IT firm in Boston, her career was on the up, but her salary was quite modest. With Lucia and Phil as owners, she could still come here for a few weeks every year, which was lovely, even if this meant she would be a kind of nanny to their two wild kids, while they had a well-earned break. What they meant by well-earned, Allegra didn't know, as they had a full-time nanny in New York, where they now lived. But as this nanny never joined them on vacation, Allegra had to step in and fill the role. She could have refused and told them off for using her as unpaid help, but she adored the children, and they adored her right back, as she was the cool aunt who wore funky clothes and played fun games and read stories at bedtime. It was mostly a great job, even if they wore her out and stretched her patience to the limit. Right now, however, she could relax for a while, as 8-year-old Emma and her 10-year-old brother Joe were being taken care of by the mother of one of their friends. Allegra looked at them with half-closed eyes as they tucked into sandwiches and shared cookies, and then gave herself up to the warmth of the sun and the sound of the waves. It was heaven to lie here and rest for a little while. The past year had been hard, as she had, while working, looked after her father, who had suffered a stroke earlier in the year and had needed to use a wheelchair. When her father finally passed away, Allegra was happy that she had spent this time with him. Lucia had tried her best to help, but living so far...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?